Hi-ho, Sermit the Watch here. What is sermit? What is Ultra-Cermet? What are any of us? Big questions. You're in the right place to answer some of these questions. Let's go. This watch was introduced by Parmigiani Fleurier a few months ago, and it is very interesting. This is the Tonda PF Sport Chronograph no-date Ultra-Cermet. At about $50,000, it means that each of the 40 letters in the name of this watch will set you back around $1,250. So according to that calculation, we've still learned nothing. That doesn't mean anything. But let me hit you with some facts that are actually meaningful. This watch adds to the Tonda PF Sport line of watches. The collection now has 10 watches. All but 2 are chronographs, and all come with straps and all have water resistance for your sporting needs. This watch comes in 2 colors, London Gray and Milano Blue. The one I have here is the London Gray in it. This costs $50,505 US or 39,900 Swiss francs. It's 42.5 millimeters across, 13.3 millimeters thick, about 48 millimeters long, which I think works great on my 7-inch wrist. It has 100 meters of water resistance with a screw-down crown, and it weighs about 95 grams on the rubber strap. Yes, rubber. This looks like a textile strap, but it's rubber. The movement inside is the in-house PF070 integrated chronograph movement that's certified as a chronometer by COSC. It has 65 hours of power reserve, and it beats at 5 Hz or 10 ticks per second. The case, the pushers, the crown are fully made of Ultra-Cermet. So what is Ultra-Cermet? Sermit is a composite material. It blends titanium and ceramic. Usually it's a blend of titanium carbide and titanium nitride. And the word sermit is also a composite, ceramic and metal, sermet. It's a portmanteau, like how spoon and fork combine to form spork, or how YouTube and watches combine to form a waste of time. Sermit has the lightness and strength of titanium with a scratch resistance of ceramic. Sermit usually scores somewhere around 1500 Vickers on the hardness scale, which makes it about 6 times more scratch resistant than stainless steel, so a lot. Sermit has been used in watches before. Richard Mille and Audemars Piguet have used sermit in some components, but this is the first time a watch has had an entire case, plus the pushers, plus the crown made of sermit. And also, this is Ultra-Cermet. What is the difference between sermit and Ultra-Cermet? The production of Ultra-Cermet is a trade secret that belongs to Parmigiani. It's a proprietary material that the brand developed. That's really all the difference I can tell. I know that Parmigiani spent 3 years developing this material, but exactly how it differs from other sermit materials, I don't fully know. The case is made of 72 components and takes a full day to assemble. All of that sounds like too much. It's just too much, but you all like that. You like the idea that a watch is difficult to make. I don't know why that's a selling point, but I know that it is for some people. Maybe they're not thinking about the cost of maintenance and repair like I am. The case is really nice looking. We can probably all agree on that. There's a very fine mix of finishing here, brushed surfaces and polished surfaces, which have a lovely contrast next to each other. And because this material is so scratch resistant, there's a good chance that this finishing will look like this practically forever, which really speaks to my scratchophobia. It looks cool, and it's relatively light for a chronograph. 95 grams on the rubber strap, feels good, looks good on my 7-inch wrist. 42.5 millimeters across seems like the right size for a watch with this style. The darkened material and the strap do kind of place this closer to a luxury sports watch than anything I've seen from Parmigiani before. Even the dial is less traditional and a bit more modern and sporty. Other watches in the Tonda PF line have guilloche dials, but the Ultra-Cermet watches have vertically brushed dials. And what's interesting about that vertical brushing is how it looks different depending on what direction the light is coming from. In one direction, the main dial is dark, and it makes the watch look like a reverse panda watch. But if you rotate the watch, the dial lightens and the main dial is almost the same as the color of the subdials. It's a cool effect, but it doesn't change my one main complaint about this watch. It's hard to read. The hands and markers on this watch are coated with something Parmigiani calls black ore, another portmanteau which combines the English word for black, which is black, with the French word for gold, which is or. Black ore is a 9-karat gold nickel alloy deposit that makes the hands look a dark matte gray, which gives the main minutes, hours, and chronograph seconds hands very little contrast against the main dial, and that's not great for me. The watch does have some lume, a small token amount. The lume works, it helps, but not very brightly and not for very long. Now this PF070 movement is good, it's real good. 65 hours of power reserve, and it runs at 5 Hz, which makes this a high beat movement, and there are a couple benefits to that. First, the seconds hand sweeps smoother than on some garbage watches like the Rolex Daytona or the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph. 4 Hz is for losers, I think we all know that. And second, a higher beat rate usually means a more accurate movement. With each beat, the movement is kind of adjusting itself, so more beats means more precision usually. And one thing that surprised me about this movement is that it's certified as a chronometer by COSC. Now, I've complained and will continue to complain about the fact that many high horology watches do not promise any kind of accuracy. You'd think for $50,000 you would get a watch that has some kind of guaranteed accuracy, and in this case, you do. Also, the movement is very, very pretty. It's an in-house, fully integrated movement, which means that it's not a base caliber with a chronograph module on top or something like that. It's a fully integrated chronograph with a column wheel and vertical clutch system, which is the gold standard for chronograph transmissions. Now about the price, $50,000. Okay, so in physics, there are some interesting things that happen when you get down to subatomic particles. It seems like the laws of physics shift or even don't apply in some cases. Things get weird. Now, similar things happen when you get above a certain price in the watch world. Normal logic does not apply. How does a Parmigiani watch made of Ultra-Cermet compare to other watches around the same price? It doesn't, or at least you should not play that game, it's silly. What I try to do with this watch and watches like this is to ask if there's something original and interesting and exciting here. Truthfully, that's not always the case with a $50,000 watch. There are a surprising amount of $50,000 watches that I find kind of boring, but not this one. I find this one very interesting. Beautiful, great movement, interesting materials, and from a relatively small high horology brand. A watch that will only impress you and people who really know about watches and me, which is to say, the most important people.